Why haven't we seen more come officially out of the Congress? I mean, what's keeping that from happening? The meeting you're referring to, it was a meeting you called with a couple of members of Congress, Congressman Jordan, I believe.
Yeah. And we brought some witnesses in. There's one reporter from the Daily Caller has been all over this story, right. Luke Rosiak. Most of the mainstream media, they basically just thumb their nose at the story. They don't want to get involved with it. So we got that. We got a lot of the facts out. And the reason why we wanted to do that is because right now there's supposedly an Inspector General's investigation within the House. We don't know who's been interviewed. We haven't heard anyone's been interviewed. There's also a House Admin Committee investigation. But again, we haven't heard, there's no evidence that that's really been thorough, and I'm concerned that that's not the best venue to do it. I wanted to do it on the Oversight Committee because I think that we deal with so many other things that we'd be able to know what to look for in this instance. And part of the frustration I think that I've had is the House in Republican rule has not been as effective as it needs to be in doing oversight. I mean, you remember the Clinton Foundation, right. When that scandal broke, we were barred by the leadership from doing one hearing, one subpoena, nothing in the Congress about the Clinton Foundation. And you had all this money going into the foundation from foreign governments. You had money going to Bill Clinton from foreign governments. You had Hillary taking action as Secretary of State. And regardless of what you infer about that, at a minimum, we needed to thoroughly vet and investigate all of those transactions. The House never did it. And I think that we don't want to see the same thing happen with Awan.
So you're saying that the biggest hurdle you guys are trying to overcome is House leadership and that they don't want to pursue this, or is that the perception?
Well, I think that there's concern that this is not going to be investigated as zealously as it needs to be. This has the potential to be the biggest scandal in Congress since the House banking scandal in the early 90s. Mm-hmm. But in order to get the facts, you've really got to go at it. And why that hasn't been done so far, I can't answer that.
And so what would you like to see happen with this whole scandal? I mean, would you like to, if it was up to you, what would you want to see happen? Who would you call witnesses? Would you call an actual hearing and call witnesses?
So I think, obviously, I would want to see a zealous prosecution in the U.S. Attorney's Office, mm-hmm. and we still may see that. I mean, we'll see. It's too early to tell. I think they may do a superseding indictment on Awan, because I think the bank fraud was more of a placeholder. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to go into the procurement issues, maybe go into the breaches, and potentially tie in some of the members of Congress who were complicit in this. So I think that would be good. Having talked to the DOJ, I mean, I feel reasonably confident that there will be a thorough prosecution of the case, which is good. And that could take care a lot of some of the Democrats who were implicated. What we need to be doing is understanding how the integrity of the House was compromised, because it was, whose information was compromised, what Awan did with the information, was our national security compromised as a result. I mean, Awan had a relationship with a guy that was affiliated with Hezbollah. I mean, there's just a lot of really bad stuff in this case. And so I think the House, we need answers to all of those issues, which may be criminal, but also may not be criminal. But even the non-criminal stuff really is bad in terms of the institutional integrity of the House.
Do you think some of these Democrats, like Congressman Deutsch, who were involved, Congresswoman Lois Frankel, or Wasserman Schultz, should consider even stepping down, because considering what's looming over their heads?
Well, I think it depends on who knew what when and what they decided. Now, of all the members of Congress, obviously, Debbie Wasserman Schultz chose to pay Awan even knowing he couldn't even access the IT system. So that's thousands and thousands of dollars just being shoveled to him when he was under a major investigation and was told we were told by the authorities he's not fit to handle any of this information or have any of this access. So I think it depends on the member, but look, at the end of the day, clearly there are ethical implications, and then if they had any idea what Awan was up to, that becomes very, very troubling.